It's Flip City Magazine, The Parodies, Special Edition, with savage send-ups of The Walking Dead, Star Trek Picard, Stranger Things, The Mandalorian, Guardians of the Galaxy, and more from the first 4 years of Flip City. Get Flip City The Parodies free when you subscribe in print at flipcitymag.com. The world's best satire magazine, and never, ever woke.
Space.
I mean, what the hell?
Space. A vast, dark void in need of exploration. Yeah, right! Space isn't about exploring, it's about getting rich. What's the fastest way to get rich? By collecting the splinters of Yggdrasil for glorious bounty. Too bad it's also the quickest way to get dead. Join Mistress Craven and her crew of scantily clad scoundrels as they sail the stars in search of the splinters of Yggdrasil. Magic, mayhem, and miniskirts in space. Go to abochrissly.com to learn more. See you soon, matey.
Open your ears real wide and say, "Give it to me straight, doctor, I can take it."
Kick the chops out from under the wheels. Flaps up. No offense, Margaret. Contact. We're off. Rum, rum.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Welcome, boys and girls, to Doc's Coffee Shop. Wonderful to have you here with us today. All one of you that's watching right now. This vast audience that we reach out to. As usual, we'll wait for the latecomers to roll in here. I feel like this is my my college classes that I was in, where people just rolled in whenever they felt like it. Just sorry, lax civilian pukes. Could never wrap my brain around that. I kid, but hey, my co-host is out, continues to be out with health issues. Tanner Hurley, we love you. We wish you a speedy recovery. Can't wait to have you back. My other co-host is on remote location, but she's still here. Welcome, Christy.
Undisclosed location, even.
She's in witness protection. Because
Oh, I should have backlit myself today.
You should have. Oh no.
That's fun.
I mean, Christy never streams from the same location twice. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where the hell are you today, Christy?
I'm in Utah today.
In Utah.
Yeah, southern Utah, God's country. It's so
It's
beautiful here.
it's nothing but desert. How can it be beautiful?
It's the red desert with the cliffs and everything. So it is freaking gorgeous. And we might do a little wheeling today. We'll see.
Okay. All right. Um, I had a friend. Her name was Rosie Fuentes. Great painter. We were in the art association here together. And hello, Thor. Good to see you. One moment.
Thor,
She was
Thor.
from the Southwest
Okay.
and had done a lot of paintings of the Southwest. And when she moved here, she was like, I can't get used to all the green.
Yes.
Well, she did get used to the green, and I pulled her over to the dark side of Impressionism, and she started painting Impressionism and doing landscapes and whatever. And then I lost touch with her, and I recently found her. She's now down on the Gulf Coast painting seascapes.
Okay.
So she just keeps getting better environments. She
Yeah.
went from the hellscape of the desert to the lush greenery of the South, and now she's on God's coast.
Yeah, it's super green, like all over, like east of the Rockies.
hmm Well, I don't know. You know, you got the amber waves of grain, the prairies, the Dust Bowl. I don't know. There's no appeal for me out there. Like, I've
The
heard the
flight.
song Oklahoma, but I don't want to go.
Yeah, I've never been to Oklahoma, but I was looking at property prices there, because where
Yeah,
I'm always like making a California escape plan. And I think Utah is at the top of my list because my dad lives here, southern
right.
Utah, and it's close enough to where we can drive home
Yeah,
to
yeah,
visit family and
yeah.
stuff.
Sure. If I remember right, I just watched something where I think the least densely populated state is either Nebraska or it's one of those in the North Midwest, and the population density is so low there that you could probably go out there and get yourself a couple of thousand acres for a front yard.
Yeah, probably. You know what's interesting about population density? I was curious because a good amount of people, friends that I've made, in the independent publishing space, are east of the Rockies, and same
Yeah,
thing with like our subscriber map and stuff. I'm like, why is that? Why is that? What's the population density east versus west?
hmm
80% of the United States population is east of the Rockies. I didn't know
sure.
it was that huge, but
Well,
it tracks with my
but
experience.
let the opposite of that ring for a second. Um, that means 20% of the population's largely in California
Yes.
because Washington and Oregon,
Yep. That was exactly part of the video that I watched said, okay, and then of this 20%, like 15% is in California.
Yeah, I thought it was North Dakota also, Charles, but I was wrong if that video was correct.
Hey
Oh, it
Terry.
was on. There's a video called 1 Hour of Useless Information, and it was really good. Yes, my beard is back. Now I've got to trim it up some because I can't stand when it starts getting woolly. Ugh. Hey, we've got a guest today, friend of the show. I've known her from the start of her career in
Ooh.
comics, and I was stunned to learn that while I was the recipient of the first 5 issues of her book, she's already well over 20 issues in the time it took me to do 2 books. So you know her, you love her, I hate her. Welcome, Corissa Grant.
Hi.
I
I
heard it
told
has
you
Chris, I heard it. It hurt. Yeah, it's credit card debt, right?
it's credit card. Yeah, you can be as jealous as you want until the interest you have to pay for it every month. So, everyone's always like, "Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous." I was like, "Yeah, no, you're not. You can have what I have with your 5 credit cards too." So.
If no doubt, if I had the money, I would go your route.
Oh, I
but I
don't have the
don't.
money. That's why I have credit cards.
Well, I'm too old to even incur that debt because my lifespan wouldn't pay for it.
But then it's it's left to who? Don't whatever. I don't have any kids, so it's like I die with the debt. At least I have my comic book space.
Wait, she just said, I don't have any kids, so I'm not wrecking anybody's future.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Carissa, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was telling you before, so I did have a smart way I could have gotten out of debt. I had, I'm 6 issues ahead, always on redemption. So I could have just done 6 issues of redemption this year, not had to pay for anything because everything's paid for, just taking the money from Kickstarters, pay off debt. So what did I do? I started a new series. So that was smart. My husband's like, I thought you were going to slow down after 2 years. I was like, yeah, funny story.
Yeah. Good story, bro.
Yeah. I was going to. That was technically the plan. And then I was like, let's do a Western. And now
Have you just got the bug, Carissa?
Oh,
where
I'm
you love
so
cranking this stuff out.
I'm obsessed with the addiction of comics. Like there's just addiction is not a strong enough word. Obsessed isn't a strong enough word. So we're just going to be obsessed with the addiction and just go with that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just remember the infamous words that I said. Well, I'm going to make a comic book. How hard can it be? So the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So
it's challenging. It's difficult.
Yep.
It can be a nightmare, but it's also rewarding.
It's very rewarding. It's very stressful. Kickstarters wouldn't be so bad if they couldn't, back out or cancel or anything. Because it's hard to get excited when it's like, oh, it went up. Yeah. And then my husband's like, aren't you excited? I was like, yeah, they're going to cancel. Someone's going to cancel. So it's hard. Like, and then when the counter goes down, you still don't know what you got because of all the payment errors. So like,
yeah.
Every time I fill out the surveys for Kickstarters, I always say, I don't think people should back out the last 24 hours and they need to take the payments first so there's no payment errors at the end. Because those things are so stressful. Like, I don't want to think about it my last 24 hours. I just want it to end. And then, me, I send out everything right away and do with it. But
have you tested the waters over at Fund My Comic yet?
I filled out a whole thing and then got distracted with life and then never did anything with it. So I do plan to go over there because that site's pretty good and I like Luke Stone. And even though we got off on a very rocky start, me and Lori were on his show and he was
I'm aware.
Yeah, he was.
I was there actually.
Yeah, you think
I was there.
Yeah, and then afterwards, he bad-mouthed my Kickstarter page, and he was like, "You need pictures at the first thing," and I was like, "I'm sorry, you can't read," and it was this whole thing. But it was like right after that like my very small but loyal fan base went after and left all these comments on like, "How dare you talk to Carissa that way?" and then someone left a long thing about how you shouldn't talk that way and all this stuff. So he apologized and we're on a good base now, and he's actually really complimented my series, and he said that he's proud of me for not going there without any nudity on my part or my story, because if it was my part I wouldn't have any fans. So, but cover wise, that too. So
I don't know. I get naked on all my streams.
Now, see, Doc, you're jealous of Corissa because of her productivity and how many books she has out. I'm jealous of her because of her loyal fan base that will actually help instead of pile on.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm jealous of.
Listen, all 4 of my loyal fan bases in the chat right now. And by the way, that doesn't include the people that live under this roof. They're not part of my loyal fan base. They could care less. I think the dog is more concerned with my productivity than anyone else here. So
I have to say, what little fans I have are very loyal, and we did a little. There was some little. I don't know how I got on it, but there was some award thing going on, and I hadn't applied for it. I didn't even know it existed. And then someone's like, "Hey, your thing popped up," and I was like, "All right." So I didn't share it for like whatever, and it kept going through the ranks, and I was like, "All right, I guess I'll share it." Apparently, we won I think we won 3. So every time we won, it's like, wow, that fan base really comes out.
Nice.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was pretty good. So we won 3. I think we won best series, best writer, and best cover because we had Ken Hunt's cover, which of course was, one of the best covers. So
I mean, think about how much you would have won that by had I done the cover.
yeah, see, well, you started one, showed me, I told you how cool it was, and never saw it again. That was like a year and a half ago.
That
so.
seems like Doc.
Yeah.
It does not.
Yes, this is how it goes with Doc. Say something nice about Doc, and then he hides.
Yeah. So that's how that went. So I haven't seen that. And then he's like, I got to redo it. And I was like, why? Because I liked it. So yeah, that didn't.
I don't even remember what it was, but I reject the reality and substitute my own.
Yes, it was Anubis. You drew.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's totally get this conversation off of me because I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah, the person that has his own show is not comfortable talking about himself. That makes sense. That's fitting.
I am the world's worst self-promoter.
I'm not that good either, except for I never shut up. So that kind of gets people to hear it. But I can't post it on I'll post it like once or twice, but I see these people posting like every hour. It's like, that seems annoying. I don't want to be annoying. There's a fine line between passionate and annoying. So I like to, to play the line.
That's exactly how I feel. It's like, if they say, "Dog, share your link." I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, I got yelled at on a stream once because the guy's like, I had to scroll down too far to find your links because you shared everybody else's links, and it took me forever to find your link. And I was like, oh, I can pin things, and now I don't have to worry about it. So I just pin it up the top, and then someone will see it eventually. It's fine.
Yeah, the start of the show, Christy played my trailer, and I'm like, yeah, I'm so tired of hearing that damn thing.
You want to know what my favorite thing is? Because I couldn't send out the Substacks because I found it annoying. I feel like I'm annoying people because, one, if they already backed it, they would still get a warning, and if I do it again, then more people get a warning. So I actually pay $100 just to do the backer kit because the backer kit only sends it to people that haven't backed yet. So that way I'm not bothering anybody. So there you go. Back it and you can make me shut up. And that's how that backer kit works.
I take that in a different direction. When I do updates on my work,
I don't do
it's right here live.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't. I sent out one email update because it needed to go out. But my thinking, Corissa, is that's what Anthony Romano is for. I've got a publisher. Fuck him. He can do that.
Well, it's funny because I talk to people on my Facebook. I talk to a lot of people, but not about my story. I talk to them about their stuff and my stuff and daily events. So I don't do a lot of updates on my Kickstarter because they already backed it. It's already done. They don't have to be bothered all the time. And somebody, I'm not going to name any names, somebody said to me, I'm never going to get anywhere because I don't connect to my fan base. And I was like, my fan base is the people I talk to, not the poor people that have to get these emails that they already backed it, to be told that they already backed it. It just drives me crazy. I don't do stretch goals because I find them useless to people, because if you want it, you can just get it. So I have
because Carissa's already gone in debt to produce it.
Yeah. I have 100 things of merch. If there's something you want, it's there. It's probably $1. Go get it. You don't have to wait till we reach something. Just go buy it. It's fine.
How much room is left in your basement storage area?
Oh, funny story. My husband is building me a workshop out back because there's not enough room downstairs. So, and I'm starting a cryptid of the month thing. So, he's building, and it's much bigger. And he's like, "You sure it's big enough?" I was like, why? Is there room? Is there room for more?"
Carissa goes to bed at night thinking, what other burden can I place on myself?
Right? Like, I'm like, why did I think about this cryptid thing? And then I was like, nobody's going to want it. So I posted something on the Kickstarter, and I said, anyone interested, give me their email. I could do about 50 people. 25 is better for my laziness, but I could do 50 people. 125 people signed up for it. I was like, I'm assuming not all those people are going to buy, I hope, because that would not work out. I am way too lazy to do that every month. Send out 125 things. We'll see how that works out.
So Corissa, let's do this. For those that don't know you,
that's the thing.
Pardon me.
That somebody doesn't know me.
Let's assume that
One
this
of
is
the
the
eight
first.
Somebody's lucky
Don't know
enough to
you.
not know me.
Let's assume that one of the 4 people watching don't know who you are. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I am Corissa Grant. I am the creator and writer of Worthy Chaos. I started 2.5 years ago, and I wrote a series with my co-writer Jess, and we have over 125 issues for Redemption already written and 20 for the Western already written. And like a freak show, I'm making them all. So, well, for Redemption, I know 80. I'm definitely doing 80 for Redemption. The rest, I don't know. We'll see. I might be 80 by then, so I don't know how that's going to work. But
let's a couple of questions for you that I don't know that I've ever asked you.
Sure.
What got into your head to make you think making a comic book would be fun or a good idea? What went wrong in your life?
So it's because I'm a horrible writer, but an amazing storyteller. Like, I do not have any writing skills whatsoever. It just happens to fit perfectly with comics. But how it happened was, after we wrote, I think at this point we had the 25. No, we had more than that. We had 50 issues written, and then I was like, that's 50 is a pretty good. It's 2 series put together, and it has a really good ending and everything. I was like, that's a really great story. What a waste. I have no skills. I finally have some kind of skill. This is a waste. I was like, we can't make a novel from it because my writing skills are really bad. I was like, so I really don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I decided to just print them out for me and my co-writer. So I was like, we can read them. I read them all the time. I love them, whatever. Well, I read my co-writer's writing. I don't read my own writing. But so I was looking for a cover. I was like, I'll just pay some guy to make a cover for it. It's not a big deal. So all of them are cartoony, and I said to my co-writer Jess, I was like, these are cartoony. Should I get them to do a cover, or should I look for someone that does it more realistic? And my co-writer's like, no, cartoonie's fine. And then this really expensive light bulb went off, and I was like, we could do a comic book. So I was like, how hard can it be? I literally hired an artist and went to bed thinking, I don't know how to write a script. So I had to YouTube it the next day because we wrote everything in novel forms. We have 16 novels written. So I was like, all right. I watched a 5-minute thing on making scripts, and I was like, yeah, I got this. So I wrote the script, and I was like, I showed it to a letterer, and they're like, did you want to see any of the art, or did you just want all dialogue? I was like, well, okay. That became 3 issues because of so much dialogue. So yeah, and then my first artist screwed me over. There goes $5,000. So I paid them for an issue and a half because I'm a sucker for a sob story, and they abandoned me after like 3 pages were done. So I hired, yeah. So they did. I paid them to pencil, ink, color, and letter 1.5 issues, and they finished 2 whole pages and then penciled and then disappeared. So I had to hire an inker, I had to hire a colorist, and I had to hire a letterer. So it wound up being about $5,000 when I was done, and I didn't like it. So I released it because I had it, and I asked everyone I can think of, should I redo issue 1? You know, like, I found a new artist for 2, and I was like, should I redo issue 1? Everyone said no. Pop said no. Everyone said no. And then one random person was like, yeah, go ahead. And I was like, okay. Oh my. So I redid all of issue 1. So the current artist that is on Redemption, he did issue 2 first. And then I was like, now you have to redo. He actually did 2 and 3. And then I was like, now you have to redo 1. So I was like, you have 30 days to redo it because I'm going to launch. And I already was launching 1, 2, 3. he went and redid one before he was going on vacation, so it worked out. So issue 1 is actually the 3rd issue he did with us. And he's been with us the whole time. He just started issue 20. He just finished issue 20 yesterday. I gave him the script last night for 21. So he's going to start today with sketching and all that fun stuff. So he just does whatever the hell he wants. I'm permanently indebted to him money-wise. He just he's not like on retainer. Like he just takes money and goes, next one. So yeah, but issue 14 goes live in June. So we're like really far ahead. So if anyone's ever worried about not getting your comic, you're going to get your comic. They're already at the printers. So
yeah. And I'll come back to that because we were talking backstage about that.
Yeah.
That, there's never any doubt of getting a product from you, Corissa, because
yes,
you mortgaged your soul to
Please
produce
take my
them.
damn issues you paid for. Get them out of my house.
But here's what I do want to ask you.
Yeah.
Before I ask you for the sales pitch, elevator pitch /
Oh my God, I got to talk more about it.
what is how would you describe the flavor of your story that you're telling? Because this is all one big story.
It all connects, yeah. And so the best way to describe, so Redemption is a horror action survival story. It's very action packed. It's nonstop, insane, chaotic nature. Then you have the Western, and it fits the era of it's more of a supernatural adventure. And they go through a lot of chaotic things, but it's a lot more, it's not as chaotic. They do some chaotic things, but it's not all over the place like Redemption, which is kind of how we planned it because it's a whole other thing. So this story connects directly to Redemption. Well, technically Damnation's between it, but it connects directly to Redemption. Now, we always had the last issue because the last issue is what happens there is what directly impacts why Redemption is so chaotic. It changes everything in their existence, and that's what happened. So we always had it. We never planned to expand on it. It always was a Western. It was always 100 years before they're born again. But it was never anything more than that. And then one day we both just woke up and was like, I want to see him in a cowboy hat. And now they have.
All right. So fill in the blank. If you're a fan of blank, you'll love Worthy Chaos.
So for the Western, it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Supernatural in the 1880s.
Okay.
For Redemption, it's Buffy meets Supernatural in Silent Hill in the world of Resident Evil. It's all over the place. But yeah, this is more of a supernatural thing. They have to research, hunt down cryptids like Bigfoot and Mothman and Jersey Devil. And well, we have to call it the Leeds Devil because it's not named Jersey Devil till the 1900s. So we did a lot of research. But yeah, there's like 30 plus cryptids in this, which is a marketing genius and nightmare all at once. But yeah, so.
All right. So, damn, my other question just went right out of my head. And I'll tell you why. If you want an inside glimpse into how my brain works, it's like
I don't know if I do.
I was like, that gives me a good question to ask. And
that's
then
why you have to interrupt like the rest of us.
Well, and then
Yes.
my brain goes, you can't ask that question because you don't have enough coffee. I need a refill. That's how my brain works. No, my question was, tell us about the main protagonists because they have kind of a cool story, and they need a little intro.
Yes. So we have Seraphina, who is an angel descendant, and we have Draven, who's a demon descendant, and they're soulmates that go through every life together, and they reincarnate. They can't have an afterlife because she would go to heaven, he would go to hell. So they always have to reincarnate. But they never have any memories. They just feel connected to each other. So they have to go through the whole spiel every lifetime. But in each life, their fathers are after the angelic weapon that she was created from. And the only problem with that is her soul is what activates it. So if they were to use that, she would never reincarnate it again. No afterlife, no existence, no nothing. And then Draven would go completely dark and destroy the world. So nothing positive anywhere on that. So, nothing important or anything.
Just a little Armageddon. No big deal.
And it's so funny too, because we market it as the universe is in peril, but they don't give a shit. They only care about each other. There's plenty of times they could have saved the world by destroying the weapon and her, but nope. They rather just do their own thing. And they get called selfish a lot by the angels. They're just like, you could stop the whole entire war. You could stop anything going on in hell. And they're like, nah, we'd rather be together. So,
yeah.
Like we need another meet cute in the next life.
There's actually in the written series, there's technically 3. There's this one, there's the damnation and redemption, and then after redemption and conviction, if I go that far, it's resurrection and they get resurrected again. So it's actually 3 lifetimes I actually wrote about.
Wow.
So there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of lore. There's a lot going on behind the scenes.
Now, am I right, or am I imagining that there's a crossover with our good friend Lori Calcaterra's world?
There's a slight crossover. We do have a great pinup of her character Jude flirting with Seraphina, who pisses off Draven, who you can see is about to go destroy Jude. But on the more fun side, at the end of issue 14, which is in June, Big James comes and does a guest star, and the last page, which Anubis bops him on the head to make him go away. So I didn't ask. She said, because they're in a zoo in issue 15, so they're like fighting all these animals, and she's like, and I was like, I changed my story from a bear to grizzly bears to polar bears because I always wrote, regular bears, and I didn't want to coincide, even though technically I had it first 17 years ago, but whatever. So I yielded to her bear, and then she's like, well, why don't you have Big James come on in? I was like, can I? So so he comes in looking all badass. So
all right, right on.
Yeah.
Now, when last I looked, you and Lori had a little bit of a working relationship, or was that a one-off, or what happened there?
What, our show? The show?
No. What am I misremembering? Was she going to come on board and be an editor for you? Or?
Oh, she's my editor. Yeah, she's a quote unquote script consultant.
Okay.
My editors hate me. I have like 4. They hate me because they are not allowed to change my dialogue at all. Nobody's dialogue. They're only allowed to add in commas and spelling. Other than that, they cannot touch a thing. So they're miserable. They want, proper English and all that bullshit. Nobody talks like that. Who talks like that? Nobody, especially me. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. So we don't correct their dialogue. And actually, we've got a lot of praise for our dialogue because it's very relatable. It's, Draven doesn't have the most intelligent way of speaking. The writer is intelligent as all hell. But Draven talks in a more, brutal way and all that stuff. But, Seraphina is more knowledgeable, and she talks with, I don't have that. So we're complete opposites of our characters. But she has more knowledge and all that stuff. And I'll tell you what's fun. Some things that are different about the Western. One, she curses a hell of a lot less. And I don't know why. I didn't even notice it until I was like on issue 10. I was like, she barely curses. Like, that's really weird. Because in Redemption, man, she curses like every 5 seconds.
Yes.
So much so that I had a warning. I was like, and someone actually said, I know you warned me, but there's a lot of curses. Like, I know there's a warning that you just said it. My only thought process is, and remember, I don't write the story. My character is totally right, and I have nothing to do with it. My only thought process is, in the world, in her life in Redemption, she meets Draven, and then they get torn apart for 10 years. They think each other's dead. So I think she got more cold-hearted, more stone, so she was more of a bitch. She was more
A
sarcastic.
little saltier.
Yeah, she's a lot more saltier. She's a lot. I mean, she thought her whole life was over. She was on a revenge streak to get who killed Draven and all this stuff. So in the Western, she meets this guy and instantly, she's fallen for him and finds out he's a demon, which again is something different. Now in Redemption, they know at the end of issue 12 that she is. I don't think they know he is. I can't even remember my own story, but they don't have any powers until conviction, until the serious conviction. So there is nothing power related. Their powers got shut down because of what happened at the end of Devastation. So what happens at the end of Western switched up things, and I can't say it because Lori will come on here and sense that I'm giving a spoiler and destroy me. So I can't say what it is. But what happens is why they have no powers. But in this one, their powers start to slowly come out right after they meet. So in issue 2, there's already some powers showing up.
Is that because they've been together longer?
Because of what? 2 reasons. 1, they met and didn't separate, and 2, what happens in Devastation hasn't happened yet. So they do have latent powers that come out. Now they can only draw out their powers when they're together. So it's kind of like they meet and then sparks fly, and it's like, whoa, something's happening. And generally their powers only come out when they're defending the other person. So there's a power she has, which I'm going to spoil it because screw Lori. She has a very latent, exclusive to Doc Show. She has a very latent power that if she thinks something serious, like Draven's on death's door or died, her powers turn to ice because her heart turns to cold because of what happened. So that doesn't happen until, I don't know, like issue 20. But I just wrote it, so now it's in my mind. But it was fun to have that because I can't do that at all until way later. Yeah,
it is hard to hold back pulling the trigger on your character's maximum abilities when it's particularly in comic book format.
Yeah.
But you've done a good job of maintaining your audience just with a story, not with all the hoo-ha of powers and abilities.
It's hard because I have so much written and so much still in my head that needs to be written, and I want to tell everyone every detail. Like I half the things I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie to you. So in Redemption, Camiel, right? The angel that doesn't have wings. He's the only one that doesn't. Like, I didn't know why. That's how he was written with that wings. But now in the Western, I just found out writing it why he doesn't have wings. So I had no idea.
There you go.
I was like, oh, that makes sense now. I didn't know that. Okay. And
that's the old trope of characters taking on a life of their own.
My character, she rules everything. She's more bitching than I am, if that's possible. But I didn't even know their first origin story. I just knew why they're the way they were, but I didn't know until I think it was 4 months ago where I actually had a dream of how they originally met and why they do what they do. So I had to write it down. I was like, I didn't even know that. I was like, that's nice to know. So
Christy, can you pull up her Kickstarter and be ready to share that? We're going to dive into that here in just a minute.
Sure.
If you go to Kickstarter and just look up Worthy Chaos, you'll see the active campaign. I checked it twice this morning already, and you're doing really well on your funding. As always, your product does really well.
Yeah, but this is the fastest. So last issue 1 in 2 hours was at about 1,000, a little over 1,000. And this time in a little over 2 hours, we had 4,000. So it went a little faster.
That first 1,000, when I launched Damn Dirty Thing, that first 1,000 was bam. And I thought, okay, cool. This is going to make good numbers. Yeah. After that first 1,000, tumbleweeds began to roll.
Well, that's what I told everyone. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is going to be great." I was like, "Faster doesn't mean more. It just means
exactly
faster.
Right.
It doesn't
exactly
mean more."
Right.
So yeah, it's I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm hoping it does really well.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and play your trailer.
Awesome.
While I run and refill my coffee. I watched it already this morning. This is cool, y'all. Check this out. happened?
I don't know what happened.
The music just
That's-
ended. It just clipped
It's
off.
like, boom.
No, that's the way the trailer is.
Usually I have animation at the end,
Yep.
and I didn't put it in this one. And I actually do have a somewhat animated Wendigo, but I want to get one of the covers animated, like I do for Redemption. Has like 3 animations.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to do something about that.
All right, let's take a look at this campaign here. By the way, thank you for that. I was able to get more of the dark black elixir of life
You're
that
welcome.
courses through my veins.
Now, unlike my usual 3 covers, I somehow wound up with 6 covers.
Okay.
It was not intentional. I don't really know what happened. I do know that William Russell is a sweet talker who talked me into a cover when I already had 5 covers. So that happened. And he did an amazing job, and everyone loves it. He did it. You'll see it. It's an amazing Wendigo colored by Dave Kemp, which is awesome. Oh yeah, we have a journal. So for anyone that's watched Supernatural or just wants to participate in the story, you can collect the pages of the cryptids that she's researching as she goes. So if one of the cryptids, and more will be added later, these are just, they're spotted. Here's the initial, what they look like, a little bit of what she thinks, and then that's it. So there is
That's a really cool what do you call that? A cool perk. I love that.
It's to help with interactions. We have 2 major interactions. So here's the thing about the journal, though. If you buy the journal once, and then any campaign you back from then on, Redemption and for physical tier, Redemption and Devastation, you get the pages for free. So
There you go.
buy it once, back it, you're gonna get the pages. This one has 4 pages, 4 free pages. So yeah, they're gonna get that. That's gonna be fun for me to suffer through. I was like, why did I do this to myself? Because I print them myself, I cut them myself, I put holes in them myself. So that's it's a lot more work than I'm usually allow myself to have to do, but for the love of the game, here we are. So
Yeah. Well said. For the love of the game.
yeah.
But that's a cool perk. I like that. All right. So we're looking at this is Devastation, not to be confused with Redemption.
Yes, all of the titles have TION in it. Don't ask me why. Yeah. It just was this downward spiral of you. Now I have to use it like it's completely necessary. It drives me. Right. I literally have to look up words to be like, all right, what has ION? What can I use for this?
So this is issue 2 of Devastation.
So you need 1 and 2. You don't have any of this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I
can't keep up.
I know. Neither can I. This is the interior artist. Matt and Fernando did the art and the coloring. As you can see, there's Draven about to be hung, and Serafina in the background. Now, the regular covers always displays what's happened in it, and the variants can go either way depending if the artists want to listen to me or not. So,
okay.
Like this actually happens, and there we have a bear with the being controlled by the vines, and Draven's trying to protect Serafina, and that would be our second one.
Now, is that Big James or no?
No. Big James is in the modern day Redemption. So
okay, all right.
Because even though hers is a Western, unfortunately, it's not the 1800s, so I can't have her character walk by in the background, which would have been awesome.
right.
But there is William Russell's amazing cover of the Wendigo.
Yeah, I was really digging that one this morning.
That's cool.
I like that. I love the desaturated, almost black and white gray tones.
Yep.
I love it. It.
He did an amazing job, and fast too. He's fast. Now this is Ivan Tao. He's a Marvel DC cover artist, among other things. And my brother asked me why I named it Triple D. But mystery to life. I don't know. But she looks obviously amazing there. And he did a phenomenal job, and it's selling like hotcakes. So obviously people seem to like it. And funny
it's strange
story,
how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. So the thing is, the next 2 covers are that cover's sketch, because I wanted them, and somebody's like, that's tacky. And I was like, if it's tacky, no one has to buy it. That's
It's
all there
not
is to it.
tacky. I love this. That
I
looks
love
great.
it too. So that's sketch one. I did not choose that one. I almost did, but I obviously stuck with the other one. And then this is the sketch for that one. And I love them both, and I had to include them. And people are really loving them. So yeah. Hello.
Oh, sorry about that,
and
Tank.
this is the cover from Redemption issue 10, also from Ivan Tao. So I brought it back for people to buy here. But normally after the Kickstarters end, I've been asked like 3 times already, which I never get asked. So like, will these be offered after? No, I do not put these on my website. I only order what people have purchased. So there's no extra. So if you want something, you got to get it.
Let's take a moment and greet Tank Ferret. Welcome. Good to have you, Tank.
What's up,
Max?
Tank?
Max from Atrocity
Max,
Press in the house.
he has
Good
my
to see you, Max.
redemption.
Oh, what's up, Max?
And I think we've said hi to everyone else. Hello, Carrie. Thor, Immortal Rising. Charles is the crazy comic book collector. Charles is, of course, my oldest living friend. Not as in he's old. Friend I've known the longest. And there's Darren Wagner popping in. What's up, Wagner?
Hey, Darren.
So here
Hi,
are the internal
Darren.
pages. Here's our first view of the Mothman. There's Bigfoot and the Wendigo fighting from issue 1. And yeah, so there they are.
Nice.
And then the next 2 pages, I couldn't put any lettering because it's got a couple of spoilers in it, which I probably have said at least twice to somebody, I'm sure. But there's that. And then there, I put an extra page so people can see all the lettering that I tortured SK with. These are our demons. That's Davies, for anyone that knows Davies. And then here's all the lettering, which I've changed this page 3 times. I'm surprised he didn't fire me because I was like, no, you know what? Let's add this. And then
you can't get fired. You're the boss. But I bet they wish they could, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, so that's the whole thing there. And then we have like 47 tiers. So
holy
right.
smokes.
Yeah, you might want to go
look at it. Look at it go, you guys. Look at all those tiers.
Yeah. Trust me, there's a lot. You're going to have to go there. There's actually 50 add-ons. So I've got about 100. And it's only because the only reason why I stopped was I hit the max allowed in add-ons. So I could not add any more. Apparently when it went live, they would let me do a few more. So I added a few more. So
this girl, I swear to God.
Yeah.
I am not called the queen of merch for no reason.
You know, I'm dialing back my merch.
I added more.
Carissa.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I dialed mine back.
Now I dialed back Redemption a little bit because I have so much of it. But this is I mean, wait till you see the next one. The next
well, I mean, we didn't say this live, but so much merch that her husband's building her a warehouse.
Yes. Like by 20 by 24. I mean, it's now these are our new plushies. That's our Jersey Devil, which I think is adorable. They're all about 9 inches. And then we have this one's 6 inches. There's so much detail to it. These sold like hotcakes at the con. Like everyone loved them. But they're adorable. This is the blue. Yep, tons of merch. So this is the blue version. There is no blue version in the story. Originally, I had a blue version, and Amy Good came out and said, "You need a red version." And so I had to now get rid of. But then everyone's like, "Well, we love the blue version." I was like, "I'll just have them both." So
first of all, I love Amy Good. She's awesome.
Yes, she is.
And Amy, if you're watching, don't be a stranger. Come on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Secondly, I had the opportunity to speak with your plushie maker. And seriously considering having plushies of my golem made by her.
There you go.
And I don't know, because I'm just not a merch guy.
Yeah, you might not be, but others may be.
Yeah, I know. Max says 9 inches beats 6 inches any day. just saying.
This is truth.
What in the hell are we looking at there?
So that's the mini Bigfoot plushie. Wait till you see the large, which is usually in my lap, but I'm upstairs, so he's downstairs. Think of Alf. That's how big the real size plushie is. He's 3 feet tall is the plushie.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is our Wendigo version. Oh, there's metal pins of each one. There's stickers, there's magnets, there's trading cards, there's bookmarks, there's whatever
Now,
else
see,
can fit.
I've always heard it as Wendigo. So which one of us is wrong?
It's Wendigo.
Okay.
I call it whatever the hell I want.
No, I mean, you were saying Wendigo, and it took me a minute to go, she's saying Wendigo.
I say it both ways. Depends on my mood. And there's our
Okay.
man. He's about 12 inches. So 12 beats both of those. But
12 beats 9.
yeah, it does. I forgot this one. He has wire wings. There's the Bigfoot.
Oh,
So
look at
Look
cute.
at him.
He is very cute.
he is gigantic. If you go and whoever goes in the add-ons for his, you'll see me holding it, and he's completely in front of me, and you can't see like most of me. So that's how I displayed how big that guy is. So yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah, so Carissa, you are probably a fan favorite to deal with because all people have to do is say, I want this, and then you make it.
Oh my God. I'd be like, how did I not think about that? Let's add it in there. I have 3 coloring books. I think the 4th one's almost done. I have 3 coloring books out. I have tons of handmade. These are handmade statues. That's a clay statue of Bigfoot. The next one is the Wendigo, which I love. Look at him. He just is awesome. I just got in the mail my dragon cat, my Loch Ness, my dog man. I got all these cool ones in there, but yeah.
How frequently does Amazon roll up to your door?
They don't leave. They just like drop things in and just like they just stand outside and trucks line up in rows.
They come in and have coffee because they're so regularly.
They're probably in the back room now. I don't even know. So most of these sold out. I did add new ones. I realized I didn't even add them to that list. I just added them to the option. But yeah, there's new. Do you have beanies? You know what's funny is they're supposed to have beans in there. And I told them not to. Like, do you want it as a beanie? I was like, no, but yeah, I could easily make any of the plushies into beanies.
No, she means beanies like you wear.
Oh, the hat. I was gonna do that too. If you want embroidered, I can do embroidered beanies. Yeah.
See how that works?
Oh yeah, ask and you shall receive. Are you kidding me? I used to have polls all the time and get all these things, and I was like, you remember the story? Everyone said I used to get made fun of, by the way, when I first started. Those are the coloring books. I used to get made fun of because they're like, why do you have so much merch? You're like on issue 3. And I was like, yeah, because I wanted it and now it's tax deductible selling it to you. So everything I have is because I wanted it. And that's how that went there. Yeah. Yeah, so.
I want one of these, so I'll mass produce them and sell the rest.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love the coins.
Yeah, those are really cool.
I just ordered like 3 new ones. So issue 14 will have at least 1 new one. I should probably spread them out.
Very nice.
Yeah. And then stickers galore. I didn't have room for them all. So there's a stickers set for all the Nubis and Hellhounds. Yeah, I have the hiccups. Those are all the metal. Now, when I buy those, like just to order it, it's $100, and then I got to pay for each individual one. And I have like I think 20 right now.
Goodness gracious!
I'm just gonna start a monthly pin subscription.
Scroll back up. I want to look at that journal. Now,
Yeah.
What are the dimensions on this thing?
It's small because I'll tell you why. So it's 5 by 3.5. So it's not small to most. It's average. But what happened is starting in issue 3, which is in August, you can collect the ingredients that she's going to be collecting. So there's an apothecary book that has all the little holders for the jars that you can collect, and it holds the journal as well. So if anyone that buys journals can fit it in there. So
good Lord have mercy. Anyway, that's a beautiful idea. I love that.
Thank you. I do love the journal. Now, the journal, when I send them, are half blank pages. So people can collect the stickers in there. I made sure that every sticker fits, or I bought the size that would fit. So everyone can collect stickers in there if they want to. Or they could put it on the back of the cryptid page. But yeah,
that's a good size. That's like what she would carry around with her in the field.
Yeah, and that's what she has her own book. Yeah. She has the apothecary kit too, and she has the jars on her. But yeah, so I like to have it's very interactive, but you don't have to interact. It's just but I already sold about 30 of these journals, so people
I
seem
can
to
see
like
why.
them.
That is I shit you not. That was a stroke of genius.
I know.
Great
But
idea.
I'm the one that
Great
has to
idea.
cut and do them all, but yeah. I have to I write them all. I get all the pictures are now it did not work out this way. I was going to actually sketch them, but then I thought, no, we're not going to do that. And I used the line art from the stickers, but that was the original content, was to sketch it. Cause I used to draw back, and I drew for 1 year, amazingly well for 1 year when I was 11. I was like, I'm done. So I have not drawn since. So I was like, we're just going to do the nice
Pish
ones.
posh. I will pay people to do that for
Yeah,
me.
exactly. You can also, since it's line art, you can also some people can color it in if they want. So
Yeah. Very cool.
yeah. And then there's digital catch-up tiers. There's the hardcovers. There's plushies, and yeah, whatever you
Welcome to
want.
Carissa's Closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. And for anyone that, speaking of shipping, for anyone that doesn't know, I used to ship it out in 7 days. But now, because of metal covers, I don't order them anymore until it ends.
Right.
So most things will be shipped out. If you don't order metal, generally you're probably going to get shipped out within 2 weeks or so. But I put 6 weeks just in case. They're at the printers now, for the regular covers and one of the main covers, and then I'll order the rest as it goes. Because like I said, I don't order any extra variants anymore. I don't order any extra metals. So whatever. And if it's one of 10, and only, like last one I had one of 10 or something, and only one sold, and that guy got a one of one for half the price. So
there you go.
Whatever it sold, that's what you get.
If we scrolled to the bottom, we'd be here another hour, you guys.
No, you're done.
Yeah.
This is the artwork of redemption. So
yeah, and again, this is literally one of those cases where she's got tons of merch for you to look at. The link is in the description.
Yep. Or search Worthy Chaos. I tell everyone, search Worthy Chaos in Kickstarter, Google, Facebook. I'm gonna pop up.
Oh.
And if she ain't got it, she'll get it. Okay.
Yeah, give me more ideas, man. I would love it.
Let's scroll back up to the top there.
Okay. I was going to drop the link real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2:00, man. We rambled for an hour.
Let's see. All right. Going all the way back to the top.
Scrolling back up, I just wanted to look. Go ahead. So we're sitting at $6,331 of a $1,000
And we
goal.
started 2 days ago.
Launched 2 days ago.
Yeah. It'll be 48 hours at 5:43. So
meanwhile, I've got 1/3 that amount, and I've been up for a year. I hate me.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
In my defense, though, I've been building my fan base with thousands of issues.
This is 123 backers, 17 days to go. Get yourself a little piece of Worthy Chaos. When you get into the story, no matter where you jump in, you're going to want the rest.
Yeah. Yep. You can
Just
get
the and there is a catch-up tier.
Yep. Yeah. Digital, printed, metal. There's lots of catch-ups you can do. So yeah, there's any way to do it. And my digital's not that expensive. I think it's for the entire series of Worthy Chaos with a redemption. And this one, it's like $36, $38 for all of them. So
yeah,
so it's not bad.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Again, that's over on Kickstarter. Just look up Worthy Chaos. If you Google search Worthy Chaos, it'll take you there.
Yeah.
If you Google search Corissa Grant, it'll take you there.
If you ever want to find, we're always on a Kickstarter, at least one in pre-launch, usually two. Like there's one in pre-launch now. Well, this one's live. Issue 14 is already in pre-launch. It has 91 followers. Go follow that too, and then go back this, or actually go back this, then go follow, because that's more fun.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to, we were having a conversation backstage. You can go ahead and take that down. We were talking, Christy and I, before Corissa joined us, and then we continued that conversation. And it was originally, crowdfunding was supposed to be, here's my idea, give me some money so I can make it happen. And people were happy to do that. Unfortunately, due to some bad actors, people became a little gun shy about putting money toward an unproven product. So I, like a lot of other creators, said, I'm not going to ask for a dime until it's done.
Me too.
Kind of
And
seems like a lot of people, like the majority of crowdfunders are that way now.
yeah,
Yeah, the only reason I brought it up is because I had somebody that wants to come into crowdfunding and he didn't understand that culture with
right.
creators now. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and it's sad that that happened, but I do remember when I first showed up in this scene, or I should say reemerged, because I did comics in the 90s, early 90s. But when I came back to it, it was like nobody knows who I am. There's no reason that they should back my name, and just me coming out saying, I got a book. So it was, let me put up and show before I ask for any money. And then, build your reputation. And when I say that, I say it because Corissa has built that reputation. She produces, she delivers. Christy has built that reputation. Flip City Magazine is biannually,
No,
twice
it's quarterly.
quarterly product coming out. So these guys are producing. I can't work as fast as you guys do. It's
Yeah,
exhausting.
Well, if you hired an artist and then you can.
Well, that is true because Doc, I mean, our contributor section in the front of the magazine keeps growing. So that's how we're able to get it out, quarterly. We couldn't do it if we did it by ourselves.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I release 6 a year. So
Yeah.
I do more than quarterly, but
so if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're wondering, I want to make a book, I've got an idea. There's a couple of different ways to approach it. If it's just your idea, you're not the artist, hire an artist. You might have to go in debt to do it, but that's what credit cards are for, right, Carissa?
yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
And then comes, refinancing your house, which we haven't done yet. So we're doing good. I always joke that if the next time I'm on your show and you see a library behind me, the house didn't make it. But
the other way you do it is the way I did it, which is just if you're an artist and a writer, you do it all yourself. You slog through, you take all the time. The one thing that confused me about myself, Carissa, was when I was working in comics in the 90s, I was doing monthly books. And I was like, why is this taking me so long? Then I remembered, oh yeah, I was just doing the pencils.
Yeah.
I wasn't writing. I wasn't inking, coloring. I didn't have to do any of that stuff. And believe me, when you're doing it all yourself, it slows you down.
I'm sure. Have you ever thought of hiring an inker?
No. However, well, the reason I respond that way is,
it's your baby.
I like to think I'm a pretty damn good writer, and I've got more stories in me than I have time left to draw them on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So I've reached out to a couple of folks that are willing to come in and maybe I write, they draw. Excuse me. And I said, you have to be willing to work for half the profits up to and including nothing.
That's double what I make.
Yeah. And I actually had a couple of people express interest in doing that because they like the stories.
See?
So we'll see.
That's great, Doc. Actually, I think you would enjoy writing for an artist because you haven't done it.
They have to be good. They have to be really good for me to want them.
He's gonna be a hell of a fucking client though, because he's gonna be like, no, that's not how you draw it. This is how you draw it. So yeah, that's the tricky part. But like for me, someone was like, oh, would you ever sell your story to like Netflix? I was like, no, because they're just gonna ruin it. So it's never gonna be licensed out. It's never gonna be ruined. Someday I'm hoping perhaps I can get it animated, but I would have to be fully in charge and I'm fully in the aspect of, if it worked for the comic, then it should work, animated.
Yeah.
So these people that change things for the movie, I understand like people change it because of time or something. Yeah. And I have changed things from my written to my comic because it's easier to write things than it is to have it drawn out.
Right.
Um,
That damn
and I-
lettering will get you every time.
yeah, damn it. Yeah, that's the tricky part because we have a lot of dialogue, and we
Yeah.
because we have a lot of thought balloons. You know, you get really in
Yeah.
the character's head, especially in this one because you don't realize, you got to understand that they don't think that they like each other. The other one's going to like them, but in their thought process, you could see they like, but the other one doesn't know that. You know, that's just like, why is he still around here? Is he evil? Is he not evil? And you learn. The thing I like about this Western is, I don't know if you remember in Redemption, they never interact with the fathers, not even once, until it's not in
Right.
connection. So they don't, but in this one, they're going to interact in issue 4. So they're going to really mess with them and get into their heads and be like, they're going to explain why Draven was created and why Draven was there and why they're the way they are. So a lot comes out in this one that doesn't come out in Redemption. So I really love the Western. You don't have to read Redemption to read this. It is technically right now a separate story. People can just read it and enjoy it. And I think that's why it's doing so well. I originally started it because I wanted a Western. But also it's an issue 1. It can bring in new readers to, not have I did Redemption so fast that in 2 years we already released over 12 issues. So for someone to catch up, it's a lot more difficult. That's why I hurried up and did the hardcovers, because for $25 you can get 7 issues. So
Sure.
yeah.
You were talking a couple of things you said kind of resounded with me personally. That you don't like your editors to try to change your wording, and that if it became adapted for media, you want complete control. I'm 100% with you. All right. The conversation I had with Charles this morning, Charles and I talk every Wednesday morning before the show. He asked me about that very thing. If someone wanted to buy Jake Bishop and turn it, I said, listen, for the right amount of money and a limited license, I wouldn't care if they turn Jake Bishop into a purple quadriplegic transvestite. I don't care. As long as it comes back to me and I can fix it later. And they pay me a butt ton of money. But like you, when Anthony tries to edit me, if he wants to change a single word, we have to fight for an hour. You have to prove to me why your idea is better than mine.
Yep.
And I think he has successfully changed 2 words in my stories.
Lori had a sentence added. She barely ever can change something, but I was like, there's something missing, because when you're writing it, they're always thinking or talking, but when there's action and you see it, there's like nothing said, Right. But she's a smart ass. She usually says something. But Lori had a line that I loved it, and it's a line that I've used lots of times. But she was, I think she was fighting with the zombie, and she said it's all fun and games until you lose an eye, as she like stabs one in the eye. So I loved it, because I used to say that all the time. I used to say, it's all fun and games until you poke out an eye. So it worked out really well. But
it's all fun and games till you lose a liver. Damn it.
Yeah.
But I'm the same way. And Anthony is always, as a matter of fact, he goes out of his way to brag about the 3 arguments that I allowed him to win to make changes to my IP. One of them is the eye color on the Golem black light tapestry. I wanted red. He wanted green. We fought. We compromised. As long as it's red on the cover, I don't give a damn what you do with the tapestry.
There you go.
So it's red on the cover. So yeah. But yeah, I'm the same way. I'm very protective of my IP.
But you also got to remember, when it comes to editors, the only writing anyone sees of ours is the dialogue. I mean, nothing else is technically mine. And for anyone that doesn't know, because I forgot to mention this, the 2 main characters are written by 2 completely different people. I wrote everything Serafina, and my co-writer Jess wrote everything Draven, and it gives them the 2 completely unique personalities, because you can tell who writes who, because my character pretty much talks nonstop and barely thinks, and Draven thinks all the time and barely talks. So you know right away who writes what. So yeah,
which is a very unique approach. by the way. I like that.
Yeah, it was, and that's how the entire series is written. I've never written for Draven.
Yeah, I just let all the voices in my head have different voices.
You know, I think I've told this story once before. I don't know if you know the story, but in Conviction, which is the series after Redemption, there's a scene, and I was writing it, and I was like, this makes no sense. I have to start over. And then the character's like, no, you're going to keep writing, and this is going to happen. I was like, this makes no sense. Nothing that's happening makes any sense. And then it goes all the way, finishes, and I was like, oh, that was actually kind of a cool scene.
Yeah.
So I sent it to my co-writer, and Jess is like, where the hell did that idea came from? I was like, no idea. I have no idea. And Jess is like, I can't wait to see it happen. She's like, me too. So like, I don't even know half the time what's going on. And sometimes, usually, like, dreams are the way I get told half the things. Like, I'll wake up and I was like, I got to write that down.
Yep.
So most
another
of the
tip for writers. Don't ever have an idea and go, I'll remember that, because no, you won't. Write it down. Get out of the shower. Keep a notepad in the shitter. You know,
I've got up at 3 a.m. to go write. Like, I've gone to 3 a.m. and I'll be typing on the thing. And then my co-writer sometimes be up, and Jess will be like, what are you doing up? And I was like, I just had an idea. I had to write it down.
Now, Lori and
a ton of ideas.
Lori and I were talking, and we both have another thing that we have in common. I was going to ask this of you. I sit and I daydream the story. And to an outsider, I look like I'm just zoned out. And they say, what are you doing? I'm writing. I'm writing right now. Is that you as well?
Oh, yeah. I do mine mostly. See, I only sleep for 4 hours, but I don't get out of bed because I'm lazy. So I'm pretty much, I go to bed at about 11 o'clock. And I wake up at 3, and I just lay there and replay the scenes over and over in my head. And the characters are talking, and they're showing me what's happening, and I'm doing all this stuff. And
this, ladies and gentlemen, is the psychosis of being a creator. It is.
Like, and you know what's funny is I don't even know what my life was like before comics. Like, what did I do with my time? Like, I'm either like talking, thinking, writing, scripting, watching videos of it because I have fan videos that I can't show anybody for copyright issues. But like, I have all of these
merchandising,
buying, all this stuff, and you know,
excuse me.
My dream was to have one artist do the entire series of, you know, whatever, Redemption or Conviction or whatever. And the Western wasn't in the books yet. And I don't think I told you this, but me and my artist, Jonas DeCosta, we got in a little tiff. And I totally understand where he was coming from, and I wasn't mad at him. It was just kind of how it went about. So we actually stopped for 5 months. And I was a year ahead. So I was like, I'll find a new artist. And I didn't want to do that because I hate it. But the Western I found immediately because Fernando knew him. He's like, he could do it. I was like, no one can ever draw Draven. It never works out. And they can't. Like, they'll have the hardest time. Even Marvel artists, DCR. I don't know what's up with Draven. But man, Matt, who did the Western, right off the bat, this is it. I was like, holy shit.
I can draw that fucker easy.
Yeah.
But
so
no,
says you that doesn't ever finish my cover. But then, you know, I didn't know what to do for Redemption because Matt can't do both. He's slower, and he's not slow. He's slower because he's the normal. I mean, he's pencil and inking it, and traditionally, and I got offered. Fernando said, "Oh, I can ink it, you know, digitally." I was like, "No, it has to be traditionally. It's not the same. It's not the same to me." Plus, when I get them in the mail, I don't want them penciled. I want them inked.
What kind of learning curve or learning experience, I should say, was it for you when you were first learning to work with an artist to bring your books to life? Did your expectations and reality kind of have a clash, or no?
Yeah, because the first one, so with the first artist, I didn't really have any, like, I just gave him a script. I didn't know what I was doing at all. So I don't really count that one because it didn't really go the way I planned.
Yep, set that aside.
Yeah, but with the new artist, with Jonas DeCosta, we're now been doing 20 issues together, we fought so much, like so much. And my husband kept saying, you need a new artist. I was like, no. He drew him perfectly. It took 6 months to find him. No, he's going to do it. We just have to figure this out. And it wasn't until the very end of the issue that he worked on, the first issue he worked on, because what was happening was I had 6 to 7 panels written up, and I had my vision of it. And he can, I'll say one thing about Jonas DaCosta, he can get what's in my head for that panel, but he wants to add more panels. So it was crowding up the page because he would do like additional 4 or 5, because he likes action. He likes to show the action. It's like a movie. It's like a movie novel comic book we got going on here.
Right.
So we were clashing on it. So finally I yielded because he never worked in comics before either, but he knew panels. It's a gift that he knows panels. So I backed out, and now I do 4 to 5 panels, and then he can add whatever the hell he wants to, and it works that much better. But it made the series longer, you know?
Yep.
Which I'm sure was maybe his goal from the beginning because he gets paid a lot more money. But yeah,
he's playing the long game.
He's playing the long game. And he was right, though. He was able to do more action. He's able to show more things. But something that he's able to do is that direct panel, like I said, he draws what was in my head. And if not, he draws it better. I think we've thought over. Usually he'll show me a page and I'm like, good, let's go. I think in 20 issues, when we have an error or something that needs correction, it's the worst correction ever. Like it takes 15, 20 tries, but it only happened 3 times. Like in 20 issues, it happened 3 pages.
Right.
And it's really, one was, I don't know what the hell was going on. I showed him everything. It was the easiest thing in the world. It was a dead end street. And for some reason, he wasn't getting it. But other than that, he just sends me pages, and I'm like, upload them. And there'll be like 1 or 2 little things. Like I think yesterday he sent me the last of issue 20. And I think the only correction was one of the key had to be bigger. And she wasn't smiling during the scene. I was like, there is no way she's smiling during that. So other than that, that's pretty much it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a dynamic that happens between a writer and an artist in a comic book, where the artist isn't the actor or the director. He's the cinema photographer. So the writer is telling you, here's what has to happen on these pages. And it becomes the penciler's job to go, all right, well, here's how I can do that for you. And you have to have a little give and take. I remember one of the worst writers I ever worked with, who was also the publisher. So I was really up against the wall with him, but he would have a really stupid page that didn't make sense. And I would rough out, and this was before the internet. So this was all done through FedEx. I would rough out, here's what I think you're trying to do in a little bit better way. Mail it, get a phone call, fight over it, either win or lose, and then do the page.
It takes too long to even get the internet. That would have drove me crazy. I'm just like, any update, send a picture. I want to see a picture. Is it done? Let me see. I know the fuck out of them.
Working in it back in the day when it was all FedEx and long distance phone calls was fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
One month, my long distance bill, this is back when long distance calls cost you, was about the same as my car payment.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, I love the traditional. It's really funny because their styles fit what era they're doing. Traditional is slower, it's more detailed, it's more all that stuff. So it's his style fits the Western. And then you have, the Redemption that's chaotic and more modern and crazy. And then you've got him doing digital, So their styles fit. And he was, because he's so damn fast, he was supposed to do both series. But I have to say that fight was the best thing because it was so serendipitous in the fact that his style just fits Redemption so much more. And Matt's fits,
And it's good to have a little bit of a different flavor.
Well, they are different. They are different lives. So it does fit that they're different. So it does fit. And probably what I would do was, because the Western's probably going to be about 25 issues. So when Matt's, it's already written. But we were considering doing a second arc with it. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. My co-writer hasn't been writing because of medical issues. But if it does get continued, then that's different. But right now it's going to be 25 issues, which is 5 hardcovers. And then that'll take Matt. I don't know. What's 20 years? Is that like 20 years? I don't know. But I mean, if he wants to go and do their third life, then, you know, it would be every other. But yeah, so I don't know. Jonas is already bothering me. He's like, don't keep telling me what happens in Conviction, because I want to draw it, because a lot happens in Conviction. And I was like, I don't know if I should draw it now, you know, because he only has 3 more issues of Redemption. But I cannot sell it till 2027. Like, I cannot sell the issues he's doing now till 2027. So he's really, really far out there. And that is why I have 8 freaking Kickstarters a year, because I'm not getting paid back. Like, think about it. I have 6 issues that I can't get paid for yet. Like, there's 6 issues created, but not done.
Okay, let's take a little time out. We're coming up on the end of the show, actually, but I want to take the time to play a trailer for a friend of ours here. But while that's happening, make sure you do, in fact, get over to Kickstarter and give Worthy Chaos a look.
Lieutenant Rogers, this is a time-sensitive critical mission. You must precede the Nazi force and secure the artifact, then get to the extraction point before they arrive. Failure to do so will result in being hopelessly outnumbered.
It's time we take the fight to them.
latest news we have of the Allied invasion of northwestern France is still an escalation from the Associated
for fulfilling his high objective. A crisis
along the whole North African coastline, the Allies can strike simultaneously.
You know, about the time that you fail to remember, that video reminds you, John Dillard is a kick-ass artist.
Oh, he's so great.
That's some amazing art.
Yeah, that boy can draw. I tell you what. Listen, here's what I've got.
We're saving money to have him cartoon for us, because he's an awesome cartoonist.
Yes, he is.
That you don't see as much in all these comic book things.
I wish I could afford a cartoonist. When my house is paid off, then I'll go to that route. And it's like, what, $100,000 for like 10 minutes? That'll work.
How dare you?
My husband keeps talking about, when we pay off the house, then you don't have to work as much. It's like, you crazy, I got to work more. I've got stuff to make and things to do, and
all right, so Worthy Chaos one more time.
Yeah, man. Please go back in so I can get a little bit less out of debt. So,
for the love of God, I couldn't make the money fall down. If you didn't notice, it's flowing up.
Well, you know what? You send the money and I'll throw it up in the air and it'll fit your video.
That's what I'm thinking is it's just the money flying up into the campaign.
Yeah.
I wanted it raining money. This one I was first learning to edit. I couldn't figure out how to make the image go backwards. So
I liked it. It worked for me. But yeah,
it works.
Worthy Chaos on Kickstarter, and go back Devastation, and then go follow Redemption for issue 14. It's got a hot freaking they all have hot covers now because I'm not allowed to do nude or topless because my character would kill me, but I can have sexy and sexy works for me. So
there you go.
yeah.
All right. I want to thank Corissa for coming out. Carissa's a friend and I love her dearly, even though she shares a first name with one of my ex-wives.
I know.
Which when I first met her, it made my eye twitch every time she came around. But we got past that.
Loves me, so
we got past that.
Yeah, it goes to show you.
Start calling her good Corissa.
Yeah,
I just remind myself she spells it differently, so
there
I'm
you go.
okay.
I'm
okay. Yeah, it's Corissa.
Yeah, is the other one is she A C-A
K-A
K-A? Yeah. My mom didn't have books back then, so she just I don't think it even
you stop it. Your mom's probably my age. Don't fuck around like that.
But yeah, so it's Corissa, not Carissa. There you go.
Is Christy's show on your horizon, Corissa? Will you go on Christy's show?
I wasn't asked to, but I would. I'd go on any show that someone wants.
Carissa goes on all these shows.
Well, now hold on. Just a little heads up, Corissa. If you go on Christy's show, it ain't like no other show you've ever been on.
Well, Corissa was way back in the day on my show.
Okay, all right, because it can get a little bizarre in there. Just saying.
On purpose, for entertainment purposes, you guys.
But
yeah, it's very
rated something PG. I don't know.
It's very entertaining, and yes. Also, aren't you going to be on with Rex later today?
I believe I had 3 shows today, so yep, 5:00 Eastern I will be on, and then I have another show at 8. I don't know who they are, but it's there. So there we go. So.
All right, Chris, you have to do me a solid because we're friends.
Okay.
When you go on Rex's at the beginning of when he's interviewing you, because he's a terrible interviewer, and I've told him so. I want you to say to him, "This better be good because I was on Doc's show and he does a fantastic interview."
Yes. I absolutely will.
Ring his bell for me.
I'll be like, yeah. I'll have to. I'll torture him for you, no problem.
There you go. All right, hey chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today, Corissa. Thank you, Christy.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you as always for your service and your sacrifice. She's streaming remotely from her exile.
A laptop.
I know, right?
Unwired, and I'm still running the freaking show.
What's
wrong with your?
Shut up. I'm trying to compliment you here, you wench.
I didn't have computers back in the day. He doesn't know what's going on.
My computer is coal fired. Okay. All right. Hey, that's gonna do it for us. Peace out, everybody.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm tired of talking to you.
And don't think it hasn't been a little slice of heaven, because it hasn't.
Well, what do you know? I finally got the last word.